Hello, everyone. I'm Audrey Russo, and I'm the president and CEO of the Pittsburgh Technology Council. I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you all for being here. I am joined by Marie Bologna, and she's on our team. She's the STEM engagement coordinator of our nonprofit arm called 40 by 80. We are thrilled that you are here today and joining us for this virtual STEM summit and a walk through the labs of the University of Pittsburgh, where Dr. Falo and his team are developing a high-tech vaccine to fight the COVID-19 virus. We have over 1,000 people registered, including students, parents, and educators that come from over 130 school districts. Many of you may be learning about the Tech Council and 40 by 80 for the very first time today. I just want to tell you a few things about it, and then we're going to get the program started. Our organization is a group of more than 1,000 local technology companies that are across manufacturing, robotics, life sciences, anything that you can imagine in technology. We come together to help make our region a great place for people to live, work, and build amazing companies that together we're changing the world. So what's the most important thing that those companies have asked us to work on? It's people, talent. In other words, they want us to tell all of you about some of the fun and incredible jobs that are available for you to pursue right here across Southwestern Pennsylvania. So I want to let you know that this is being recorded, and you had to probably check a box that gave permission that you're recording. And thanks to Pittsburgh's PCTV, this is also being simulcast right now, and it will be available on demand on their website. You can download that. You can look at Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV. If you live in the city of Pittsburgh, you can watch us on channel 21 on Comcast or channel 47 on Verizon. So one thing, you heard me mention my colleague from 40 by 80 earlier, Marie Bologna. The Pittsburgh Tech Council, we have launched a nonprofit called 40 by 80 to specifically help school districts and technology businesses to work together. So she's a nerd. We hired a math and science teacher who, thanks to our charitable works of PNC, we are working on bringing STEM industry leaders into middle school classrooms and beyond, and then those students into the offices and the labs of the STEM industry. So I am thrilled to introduce our in-house nerd, Marie Bologna, who is a master in science and tech, and you're going to find her a ton of fun. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Audrey. And thanks all of you for joining us. As Audrey said, I am Marie Bologna, the STEM engagement coordinator for PTC's charitable organization, 40 by 80. Today and each day in the STEM Summit, we really want maximum participation from all of you. So if you look down to the bottom of your screen, you should have a Q&A where you're able to ask questions. This is going to be really neat today as we follow Dr. Falo. So as he goes through his lab, you're going to have some questions. Type them in that Q&A box, raise your hand so that I know you have a question, and I'm going to do my very best to make sure those questions get asked. If you're joining us on PCTV, we are not able to see your questions that you type in, so just know that that's an option really for the live Zoom webinar. When the time comes, I'm also going to put some polling questions up for you. We have some student panelists joining us today, and we're going to introduce them in a moment, but they're going to be asking questions of Dr. Falo, and they're also going to be doing some really cool polling with you. When that polling question comes up on your screen, be sure to log in your answer, and then we'll be able to share your results and see how they compare with everybody else's. All right, the time has come. We are going to meet the incredible Dr. Falo. He's the chairman of the Department of Dermatology at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. He's going to be talking to us today about the amazing work he's doing on the vaccine for the coronavirus and taking us into the lab. Hello, Dr. Falo.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the laboratory.
Just so cool.
My name's Lou Falo. I'm the professor and the chairman of the Department of Dermatology here at Pitt and UPMC. We have been working very actively to develop a vaccine against COVID-19, and this is where we've been doing our work. It's going to be our pleasure today to show you a little bit what the laboratory is like, give you a brief tour, and finish up in the lab where we are actually making the vaccine, so you can get a quick look at how that's being done.
This is definitely a real treat. Part of today is to not only get this inside peek, but also to give students sort of an idea of how you got to be where you are. So if the student panelists could come on. We have several today, which are really cool. And these kiddos span all the way from 7th grade up through becoming a senior in high school. But our first question is going to be from Max.
Hello, I'm Max. I'm a rising senior. And so question I have for you is, so what path did you take to get where you are? Like what school did you attend, and what was your major when you were attending?
Yeah, so when I was your age in high school, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to do something impactful, something that would be helpful to a lot of people. I went to college at the University of Pittsburgh, and when I was starting college, I didn't have a declared major. I was still unsure of exactly which direction I wanted to go in. So I tried a lot of different things, and eventually became very interested in two areas. One was obviously biology. The other one was philosophy. And so my major areas of study were biology and philosophy. During college, I decided that I wanted to go to medical school. After graduation, I went to Harvard Medical School for another 4 years. And while I was there, I got very interested in science and also did research work that led to a PhD degree. Finished my scientific training, did some more clinical training, and then became an assistant professor and started doing a little of each of those. So seeing patients, working in the lab, and trying to discover new things that would be helpful.
I love that you started with an interest in philosophy. I feel like that really ends up being a cool impact, especially in the world of medicine. So that definitely makes sense how you got here. Our next question is from our student, Morgan. Are you able to get on, Morgan?
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. Go for it, Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm in 7th grade, and I was wondering what other professionals we'll be seeing in the lab today.
Yeah, so as we walk around the lab today, you're going to see several individuals, all of whom are scientists, all of whom are doing very important work of different types, and they're each going to get to introduce themselves and say a couple of words about what they're doing and how they got to where they are right now.
That is super exciting. That is fantastic. So Dr. Falo, you have some questions too for our participants. And I love this because we want to see what our audience members know about coronavirus as is today, since we know the situation is always changing every day. So our first question is going to be asked by Jessie. You're going to see it pop up on your screen.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessie and I'm an upcoming senior in high school, and our polling question is, how many cases of COVID-19 virus have we seen in the United States? The choices are 100,345, 1,761,503, 350,000, 356,900 or 2,349,987,000.
Great job, Jesse. Go ahead and pick your answers. We have a lot of accurate answers coming in. And like we said, this situation is changing every day. And these are the number of positive cases that we've seen in the virus. The United States is what we're looking for here. Go ahead and put in those final answers. And yep, it looks like we definitely have a pretty smart group here. You are correct. Currently, as of today in the United States, we have 1,761,503 cases, which again is why Dr. Falo and his team's work is so very important. That is a lot of cases covering our country. Our next question that we're going to see how you do and what you know is regarding the age group. And we have this one being asked by Liam.
Hi, I'm Liam. I'm a 7th grader, and my polling question is, which age group has the highest number of cases of COVID-19 virus? 0 to 17, 18 to 44, 45 to 64, 65 to 74, or 75 plus?
Thank you, Liam. Go ahead and log in that answer. And again, these are the number of positive cases that have shown up. Looking at each one of these different age groups, which one is really experiencing the most positive cases? Your answers are interesting so far for this one. Go ahead and take just another few seconds. All right, we're going to go ahead and share these results. So you can see on your screen that you absolutely were correct with the least number of cases are being seen in that 0 to 17 range, which for a lot of our participants, we have a lot of middle schoolers and a lot of high schoolers on here today. So that is where you would fall. The audience chose 65 to 74 as far as having the most positive cases. In actuality, it's actually 45 to 64, that age group. As of today, there were 560,226 members of that age group who've been affected by the coronavirus. Again, just further proving why this important by Dr. Falo is so important. We have one last question before we start our tour. All right, take it away, Morgan. I'm sorry, take it away, Max.
So question number 3 is, which virus causes the COVID-19 disease? And choices are the SARS-CoV-2 virus, the Marburg virus, the Ebola virus, or the influenza virus.
Thank you so much, Max. So with Dr. Falo doing this important work, where did he start? Did he start looking at the SARS-CoV-2? Where is starting this COVID-19? Is it the Marburg virus, Ebola, influenza, or that SARS-CoV-2? Go ahead and choose your answer. Again, definitely a smart group, Dr. Falo. They are for sure ready to start their tour. They are correct. We had over 80% of them choose SARS-CoV-2 that started the COVID-19 virus.
Great job. So we're ready to go on the tour?
Take it away.
Okay, so follow me. We're going to walk down the hall here a little and pass some more equipment. And over here, we have I'm a postdoc in the Falo lab. So I did my school at Pitt, just revolve around.
Okay, it looks like unfortunately it is
Just for a
frozen.
sec.
What was that?
Hold on. I think I lost this for a second.
Oh, this room doesn't get great reception.
Okay, that makes sense. I think we actually lost it right as you came into that room and started to introduce yourself. It's probably a super secret room, and that's why. So maybe back on out, and we're gonna have to take it from the top. But take it from the top.
Okay. So I'm Stephen Balmer. I'm a postdoc in the Falo lab. I actually joined the Falo lab partway through grad school. I did my grad school at Pitt in Bioengineering. So, and my projects are generally interested in education.
So not to interrupt you, but you are sideways. So if you want to flip the camera so you're not sideways. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
So we're interested in teaching the immune system to either tolerate things that are harmless, things like contact allergens, self-tissues. So for people with autoimmune diseases, where their immune system is attacking their tissues, we're trying to teach the immune system not to. And also in the case of transplanted organs, so we try to teach the immune system not to attack the transplants. And then on the flip side of that, we're looking at teaching the immune system to attack things that are bad, things like cancer and malignant cells, or foreign pathogens, like in this case, the coronavirus. So the basic idea, the basic approach is we use the skin as kind of the classroom, and we provide instructions, and we educate it through the skin. So we provide information by delivering it with microneedle arrays, which I believe that you've already heard about. So we're providing those instructions in that context, which then allows the immune system to either say, okay, this is not a problem, we aren't going to attack it, or in the case of like coronavirus, we should go mount a response against it. So that's kind of the general approach.
Great, thanks.
All right, thanks.
So we'll come down this way, past a lot of our microscopy supplies, and over here, working diligently is Dr. Sumter. And maybe take a minute to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about how she got here and what she's doing.
Hi, I'm Tina Sumter. I have a master's degree in cancer biology and a PhD in immunology. I'm a junior faculty in both dermatology and departments at Pitt. Right now, at this exact moment, I am quantifying the amount of protein that I can use. The goal of looking to see if I manipulated the mice to make them more immunogenic, which would be awesome for a vaccine strategy. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So we're gonna walk down this way and cut through this lab and into the hallway to go over to where we're actually making the vaccine. So everything is close together, so it makes it easy for our team to interact with each other and to work together. And as you can see, this is a very special room where a lot of sophisticated work is being done, and it's very limited access. Today, you could be in the lab. Hey, so this is Dr. Erdos, who is busily working on the microneedle arrays now. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself and then show you some things about the microneedle arrays.
You're slightly frozen again. I just don't want to, I want to make sure everyone doesn't miss this, especially this part. I'm hoping you're able to hear me, that we are frozen on our end. It looks like we lost them for a moment. So we'll just wait for them to come back on. I do want you to know I'm seeing all of these great questions over here in the chat. And I know that we're going to have time to get to them at the end as soon as we have some better reception there from Dr. Falo. it is definitely cool to walk those hallways and just to see how bare they are and how they are keeping really only their most important employees in each one of the labs. I am hoping that we end up getting him back with some better service, but some great questions, just so you know that they are going to be coming in. A question about advice, like what advice would you have for a high school student who's looking to be trained, who eventually wants to work at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine? Looking at another great question. Oh, we have Dr. Falo back.
Okay.
Sorry, we lost you again.
That is okay. Gave us a chance to catch up on questions. We understand that. These things happen.
Yeah. So Dr. Otis was about to show you one of the microneedle arrays is actually the vaccine. Remember, this vaccine isn't the normal kind of vaccine where you get a needle injection. This is more like a Band-Aid patch that you apply to your skin. So less pain, no needle sticks, and no bleeding.
And the size represented nicely with that penny, although we can make it smaller and bigger as it needed.
Mm-hmm. And you might be able to see the tiny little needles.
Let me turn it a little.
That make up the actual patch that goes onto your skin. These are actually formulated by just putting the vaccine into these little plates and then spinning the vaccine down into the needles in the plates. They then come out, and that's what they look like at the end.
And can we attempt to go in the lab again?
We can try.
We can do it from the doorway, maybe, so
Yeah.
they can see the.
Because really to show them the best is through the microscope, since these are microneedles, and it quickly I bring it in. They can be filled with different components. We lost it again. All right, and
There we go.
so here we go. These are carrying.
Wow.
So the red in the tip is actually the antigen that we would be carrying in the microneedle arrays. And that's the part that goes into your skin and dissolves right after we apply it to the skin.
But
This is absolutely incredible. And you had mentioned, Dr. Falo, they are made of sugar. Is that correct?
That's right. So the background, and you can see it better here maybe, the actual structure of the needle itself is sugar. And then you can mix into that sugar whatever substance you want to deliver, whether it's a chemotherapy to treat a cancer or a vaccine antigen to cause an immune response against the virus.
And even if you want to, you can load several different components as if needed.
Right. So you might imagine you can put multiple vaccines into the same patch. Well, great. Thanks, Dr. Ernest.
You're very welcome.
And we
That
can
is
take
so
questions.
incredible. Yeah, there are so many questions coming in. Is this a good time to ask you some?
Sure.
Okay, great. So one, just talking about that patch, has the patch ever been used before to administer a vaccine?
Yes. So some experiments have been done with a patch similar to this, not the same patch, but a similar idea with the flu vaccine in very early clinical trials. And so that's very exciting and encourages us to push forward with this version of the vaccine.
Okay, that was Nathan's question. Anandi is asking, does the patch hurt whenever you put it on?
No, the little needles that you saw are so short that they don't actually get to your nerves. So you can't really feel any pain. What you feel maybe is a little scratching like Velcro.
Okay, so it'll just sort of touch the surface and then go through that epidermal layer and go in.
That's right.
Okay, Rio wants to know, as it has done in the past, what will happen if the virus mutates? So as viruses have done in the past, I should clarify. What will happen if the virus mutates? Will this vaccine still be effective, do you think?
Right. So we all know that the flu virus changes every year. And so every year you need to get a new vaccine. Fortunately, this virus doesn't change as much as the flu virus. So we're hoping that it'll stay relatively stable. If it does change, we'll need a different protein to put into the same patches for a new vaccine.
And you were saying that they can put multiple vaccines in at the same time to that patch?
That's correct. So you may be able to put, for example, multiple versions of antigens from the coronavirus into the same vaccine.
Okay.
Broader coverage.
And it can be delivered at the same time. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible work. And when we say it's high tech or cutting edge, I just feel like it doesn't even give it enough justice on just where this is headed. Ello says, I don't think there are any vaccines available for coronaviruses. So how have you completed the vaccine, and what will it look like as far as being tested?
So that you're right, there are so far no vaccines that have gone through all the testing for coronavirus. There are several that are already being tested in patients, made by several companies. So we hope that in the not so distant future, we'll get very positive results. This vaccine is going through that process right now, the regulatory process, excuse me, that will allow us to be able to start clinical trials in the near future.
And in looking at those clinical trials, VJ is saying, is there a way that this method of using the patch, is it proven to be better than an injection or an oral vaccine?
Well, there's a couple things we know about it that are advantageous. First of all, it's targeting a very specific area of the skin that's very good at making immune responses. Second of all, it doesn't need any refrigeration. So that means it's a very good platform for global vaccination campaigns, especially for countries who are less developed than ours.
That is a great answer. So Logan is saying along those same lines as well, is this going to be less expensive maybe than some of the other ways of giving vaccines?
Well, we hope that the materials are not that expensive. It remains to be seen what the final cost will be after production of the antigen and all the other things that go into a vaccine.
Okay, but looking at least eliminating the refrigeration, you can ship it
Right.
better. I know you had mentioned before. Rohan is asking, is the patch currently in manufacturing, and when will it be available to the public? That is a loaded question, we know, but I just wanted to honor the participant's question for sure.
Yeah, so you're seeing the manufacturing. So the answer is yes, it's being currently manufactured for clinical testing at small scale. You've heard a lot about how long it actually takes to make a vaccine, and all of that is true. Very difficult for us to say when enough clinical testing will be complete for us to have a vaccine that you can go out and get at your doctor's office.
And why did you use sugar? Myra wants to know. Why are the needles made of sugar?
So sugar happens to be compatible with a lot of types of substances that we might want to load into these microneedle arrays. So different chemicals, different types of proteins, different small molecules are all very stable when they're coated with sugar.
Okay, isn't that amazing? Especially as the participants that we have on here, we all know that good things are coated with sugar, that we can try to use that as a pathway. Aisha wants to know, how will you determine if the vaccine has any long-term side effects?
Yeah, so the only way to do that is actually follow patients who early on in the clinical trials have had the vaccine to see if they develop any of these kinds of responses.
Okay, very interesting. So you'll be following those test subjects through, and it goes through quite a few different versions of those level of trial, which will then it would be released after that. Where can the patch be applied on your body?
So typically this would be applied on the outer side of your arm, so your upper arm, and it's really the most convenient place for placement of the patch.
Okay. My gosh, these questions are just so good that they're coming in. You're doing a fantastic job of answering as they're coming in. I'm trying to make sure we get as many of answers as possible. How many needles were on that patch? Do you know? What was the array?
400.
400 needles containing vaccine at the tip. I mean, it is unbelievable to even try to wrap your mind around what this really could mean. How long do you end up wearing the patch once it is on?
So the patch dissolves in a minute or two. We recommend keeping it on for a little longer than that, just to be sure.
Okay, and so then it would be placed on, this is Joseph's question, and then taken off after a minute or two, and the vaccine would be then inside of your body.
And be in your skin. So imagine putting on a Band-Aid, leaving it on for a couple of minutes, and then taking it off and throwing it away.
Okay. Who or what will you first test the patch on?
So this will be tested on normal patients in a very well-controlled clinical trial, so normal, healthy patients. And we will initially do multiple age groups to see if it's effective across different ages.
Okay, and that it goes with our first question, just looking at how this has affected different age groups so differently. Lots of questions about time frame, and you did a great job of answering those. Lots of questions about the effects of it. Just want to make sure I'm getting down through these because we do have some more questions too. Why don't we have, while I'm looking through some of these, Jesse, come on and ask your question that you had of Dr. Falo, because I think it's a really important one for all of our participants.
Absolutely. So my question to Dr. Falo is, if I'm a student who wants to work at the University of Pittsburgh one day or a dermatology lab, what would you suggest for me to do?
Okay, so the first and most important thing is to find out what you really love and to do that. So it's important to have a passion for something and make your best effort in an area that you're really excited about. If you find out that that's at some point in your development that's research, then we recommend going to a great university like the University of Pittsburgh, getting real experience very early on so you can be sure that that's exactly what you want to do. And then just let your passion take you where it wants to.
That is an absolutely wonderful answer. We have to really look at the problems that are facing our world at this time and look at careers that can help solve those problems. And that's what we say too, is that we don't ask really what do you want to be when you grow up, but really what problems do you want to solve? And that's exactly what you are tackling here today for sure. Griffin wants to know, are the patches easily produced and are able to be scaled for the general population? So I know you touched on this, but will it be able to be really mass produced so that we can get it out to the population once it goes through all of the trials?
Yes, so in the lab that you just saw, with one person, we can make hundreds in a day. So the technology is actually very easy to scale.
And what will the vaccine be called?
Right now it's called the PitCovax because it was made here at the University of Pittsburgh. It's for coronavirus and it's a vaccine.
That is a great question, Harini. So you guys heard it here first on what it's actually going to be called. Not as people are allowed to. Okay, so this is a great question from Callie. In looking at the reduction of the number of people that you really have coming through the labs, and we've had this question a couple times, but how many hours are you working? Are you able to keep up the pace as far as the development on the vaccine because you've had to cut back just using social distancing and being safe?
So as you can see, we're spread out. We don't have a crowded lab anymore. People have good social distancing. Everybody's wearing their masks and taking protective measures. This stretches out and divides up the time that people can spend in the lab. And so we're careful to space it out and to work more or less in shifts so that it's not too crowded at any one time. And by doing that, I think we're making excellent progress.
Okay, good. So you feel that you've been able to continue your work even under these strict guidelines. And that
Correct.
is the craziest part about developing that vaccine. You have to keep everyone safe, but still try to develop it as a faster rate as possible to make sure that it can be released. April asked a question that you might have already touched on as well a little bit, but if you could just talk a little bit more about what is the greatest challenge or the biggest obstacle that you've had in creating this vaccine?
Yeah, so I think it's the speed at which it needs to be developed and the fact that we know very little about this virus. So as the virus broke onto the scene, you can tell just by following the news that we're learning more and more about the virus every day. We started with very little background, and I think that each of these coronaviruses has some unique aspects to it. It's a moving target, and so we need to constantly keep ourselves up to date on what we know about the virus and change what we're doing as the new knowledge comes into focus.
Have you seen the virus change?
So we have not. There are reports of minor changes in the structure of the virus, but for the most part, the antigens that we're looking at have not mutated substantially.
Okay, that is a relief because I feel like then we can really make sure that we're targeting the current virus. Is it going to be tested against a placebo? That comes from Colin.
Yes, so it's important to always have a good control so that you have a good safety control for one thing, and so that would be the plan.
Okay, excellent. Madison asked a question about testing on animals, and you spoke about how we will be testing it on healthy humans in order to really make sure that it is effective. Is it affecting different age groups differently as far as when you're testing it? Is it more effective on different age groups so far or no?
Right, so we haven't done those clinical studies yet. We've done clinical animal studies already, and it's looked, in terms of making antibodies, it's looked effective in those studies. We won't know until we actually get this into the clinic whether it'll be effective across all of the age groups equally.
Okay, and I have one great last question here. Was the patch previously created and then adapted to COVID-19, or did this vaccine start from square zero?
So the patch was previously created and is actually in patients now as a treatment for skin cancer. So we already have this technology into the clinic and it's already being developed. We modified that to deliver antigens for this vaccine.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. And did it come from work on previous SARS vaccines as well?
My colleague, Dr. Gamboto, is an expert in the previous SARS and MERS virus infections, and he was very integral in identifying the protein and developing this vaccine.
It's amazing. Thank goodness we have these minds, and we have these minds in Pittsburgh that are all coming together to make sure this is happening.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about this project is all different types of scientists working together. So virologists, bioengineers, dermatologists, skin biologists, immunologists, all coming together to put their skills together to make this project work.
My goodness, thank you so much for answering all of those questions. I mean, they were really firing them at you, and you did such an excellent job of getting to each one of those. We want to ask everybody who is paying attention today, and I'm going to throw this polling question up on your screen, and this is going to be for Morgan to ask everybody. Morgan, if you are there.
In what way does the coronavirus spread? Between people who are in close contact with someone who has the virus, through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks, by coming into contact with droplets that contain the virus and then touching the face, eyes, or mouth, or by quarantining when symptoms first present themselves.
Good. Which way is it not spread? We really want to help Dr. Falo in his work and make sure that we are taking all the right precautions. So in which of those ways does the virus not spread? Good job. We definitely have some smart participants on here, and hopefully everyone is being safe, and we're really trying to make sure that we stop the spread so that this vaccine can be used effectively. I'm going to end the poll and share results. Dr. Falo, you'll be happy to know that they chose quarantining when symptoms first present is the best way to not spread the virus. Do you have anything to say to the participants along those lines?
Thanks. I hope this was all useful. Social distancing is incredibly important. We all want to get back to normal life. We all want to go back to school, back to work, back to life as normal. And if we practice social distancing, we'll be able to do that sooner.
Thank you so much, Dr. Falo. I can say that that was an amazing treat for me to get to see that under the microscope. Seeing those needles and seeing the vaccine actually placed in there and learning how quick those sugar needles dissolve is something that is definitely going to have us all thinking, I think, for a long time. Audrey, I'm going to throw this back to you to wrap it up for us today.
Okay, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Falo. I could listen to you all day long. My spirits are always lifted when I know that there are smart people right outside my door that are working to change the world. And I can't thank you and your team for staying connected to us and being so inspiring. Thank you, Marie, for your work in pulling all this together. And I want to give big shout outs to all of these companies. So these companies are ones who actually are also have jobs and for the future, including science, technology, engineering, and math. So it's BNY Mellon, Giant Eagle. They were our gold sponsors. Yes, there's technology in Giant Eagle, as well in financial technology. Silver, Lanxess, SDLC Partners, Bronze, CGI, and Industrial Scientific. Supporting sponsor, Giftja and Highmark. So these are companies as well that are looking for students just like all of you that have joined us today in this promising future. So tomorrow, don't miss tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Facebook Reality Labs and we have Chuck Hoover. He is going to be joining us. He's so much fun. Facebook, by the way, has selected Pittsburgh as a lead site for their work in virtual reality. Wednesday, we have Allegheny Health Networks. We're going to hear more from the medical professionals Thursday, you're going to get behind the scenes with BNY Mellon with a senior specialist on information security. Very, very important role. And Friday, Julie Terence out of Uber Advanced Technology Centers right here in Pittsburgh. She's a software engineer and she's working on building self-driving cars. So don't miss it. Thank you all. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, the team at 40 by 80 and the Tech Council. And be safe. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Falo.
Thanks very much.
Okay, yeah, take her out anyway.
Thank you.